Brian with ScreenFiles.com and review. What I'm looking at today is the latest Stranger Things series, Stranger Things 2. And I bring a lot of the reservations I had with Stranger Things 1 to it. Namely, I think the nostalgia element doesn't necessarily work. I don't think it's very evocative for whatever reason, and it's hard for me to put my finger on why. But I don't feel it's very evocative of the 80s, which is the time period it represents. Maybe it's due to the actors, maybe it's due to the set design. I'm not sure, to be totally honest with you, but it just doesn't resonate for me as a valid representation of that period of time. Movies and television shows, typically when they want to evoke another time period, they use things like costumes, music, set design to evoke that particular time period. And Stranger Things, both the first series and this one, doesn't seem to work for me. But I can't quite put my fingers on why. It feels very inauthentic to the time period it's supposed to be taking place in. This is despite the fact that the cars, the clothing feels accurate to the period. It just doesn't resonate. I don't know why. It doesn't come together for me. That was my feelings for the first series, and it continues to the second. It just doesn't feel right for the time period it's supposed to be in. Another thing is that it has a very young adult novel feel, and that's not a bad thing, by the way. The White Mountains by John Christopher is a young adult novel, and probably one of the best I've ever read. That's not a criticism. At least it isn't normally a criticism. But here, it doesn't feel adult to me. And I know it's designed to be watched by viewers across the age spectrum, but it feels off. It's kind of odd to describe, as you could probably tell by my attempts to describe it. It feels off, and it doesn't engage me. I mean, I enjoyed the second series better than the first, but still, it doesn't quite work for me. The enemy in Stranger Things 2 was very evocative of Lovecraft, which I liked. Not so much that it was a very personal type of evil. It went after this kid in particular, which is not really the nature of Lovecraft's evils. The evil in Lovecraft's books tends to be big, amorphous, and holding humanity in total contempt. That this evil focused on this kid kind of weakened that Lovecraft connection for me. All in all, though, it was enjoyable. It was a bit weird sometimes. There was an oddly incestuous turn where the bully in the series kind of flirts with the mom of one of the kids. A little strange, out of place, and just weird. Didn't need to see it, didn't need to be there in the fashion it was done. It could have been filmed in such a way that it was almost cute and playful, but it wasn't. It was kind of seedy, actually. Very out of character with this series. But all in all, it's pretty good. It's taken me a while to warm up to it, and I'm still warming up to it after the second series. But Stranger Things 2, it's enjoyable. By no means perfect. As I said, I don't think it evokes the time period that it exists in very well. It just feels like people playing at the time period that it exists in, which is the case. But better movies are able to bridge that gap, and television shows are able to bridge that gap. This, for whatever reason, can't seem to do it, and feels always a little bit inauthentic to me. But overall, it's enjoyable. I mean, it's certainly creepier in its own way than It was, which, I might add, evoked the period it's supposed to exist in a little bit better than this. So, if you haven't seen Stranger Things 2, Halloween is a great time to do it, and give it a watch. This is Brian, ScreenFiles.com, and review. Peace.